Right, Rangers, today's news is big. We're kicking things off with a bombshell. Newcastle United, flush with their Saudi cash, are sniffing around one of our brightest stars, and the bid they're preparing could shake Rangers to its very foundations. But that's just the start. There's talk of a South African striker with a killer instinct, a potential £2 million steal for our midfield, and Chelsea's forgotten man who might just reignite his career at Ibrox. Oh, and let's not forget Alex Lowry, once the future of Rangers, now facing an uncertain fate. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. It's not just transfer rumors, it's the future of our club on the line. Newcastle United are reportedly eyeing up our very own Hamza Igamani, planning to waive an attractive offer under Rangers' nose. Now, Igaman's been lighting up the pitch lately, hasn't he? 5 goals in his last 6 matches. Talk about a lad on fire. No wonder clubs like West Ham, Bournemouth, and even some European bigwigs are sniffing around. But here's the kicker. With Rangers posting a net loss of £17 million in the latest accounts, there's chatter that the club might be tempted to cash in on our Moroccan maestro to balance the books. Oh, to balance. Now, I don't know about you, but selling off one of our brightest talents just when he's hitting his stride feels like shooting ourselves in the foot before a big match. If we're serious about getting back into the Champions League and giving Celtic a run for their money, we need to hold on to players like Igamani. So here's a thought to chew over with your next pint. Should Rangers consider selling Hamza Igamani to ease financial pressures, or would that be a daft move, sacrificing our on-field success for short-term gain? Let's hear your thoughts. Right, here we go. Rangers are apparently sniffing around South Africa's top striker, Ikram Reyners, ahead of the January window. Now, if you've been watching Cyril Deza flounder about like a fish out of water, this might feel like the breath of fresh air we need, but hold on to your pies, because there's more to unpack here. Dezers is getting stick left, right, and center, with some rumors linking him to Saint-Etienne. And let's face it, if they've seen his recent performances, they must be desperate. Meanwhile, Danilo's just hobbling back from injury, and Igamane's turning heads in the Premier League. So we're a bit thin up top. Now, back to Rainersm. The lads banging them in for fun over at Mamelodi Sundowns. 12 goals in 16 games this season and 17 last year at Stellenbosch. That's form you can't ignore. But here's the catch. The boy's 29. Do we really want to fork out cash for someone who's not exactly a long-term solution? There's also talk that Rangers had their eye on him before but missed the boat when Sundowns snapped him up. Typical, eh? Now we're back in the queue, hoping for a second bite at the cherry. And just for some spice, Reyners scored the winner against his old club Stellenbosch last week. The gaffer's still fuming, calling him clever with his movement. So at least we know he's got brains to go with those goals. Here's one for you. Should Rangers splash the cash on Ikram Reyners in January? Or is signing a striker pushing 30 just another short-sighted move? Let's hear it. Well, it looks like Rangers might be dipping into the transfer market this January, with chatter about a move for Croatian midfielder Marko Soldo heating up. The lad's only 21, but he's already got versatility written all over him. Can sit deep as a defensive anchor or push up as a playmaker. Handy, eh? The price being bandied about his £2 million, which for a player with Soldo's potential and 6'2" frame seems like a bit of a steal. He's already cutting his teeth in Croatia's under-21 setup, so there's pedigree there. Plus, with the rough and tumble nature of Scottish football, having a big lad who can handle himself is always a bonus. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Our midfield's been crying out for a bit of dynamism. If Soldo can fill that holding role, especially with Mohamed Diamand being pushed further forward, it might finally give us some proper balance in the middle of the park. But here's the rub. With Rangers' financial situation still being less than rosy, do we risk £2 million on a youngster who's not exactly proven at the highest level? Or is this the kind of move we need? Smart, long-term investment to keep us competitive without breaking the bank? Here's one for the diehards. Should Rangers take a punt on Marco Soldo? Or is it time to demand more seasoned pros for the battle ahead? What's your call? Well, this one's a bit of a head-turner. Rangers are apparently eyeing up Chelsea's forgotten man, Kieran Hall, as a potential January signing. The lad's gone from running the show at Leicester City last season to being a bench warmer at Stamford Bridge. Not a single Premier League start to his name. Since moving to Chelsea, bet he didn't see that coming. Here's the thing though, just last year, Dewsbury Hall was putting in performances that would make you spit out your Bovril. 12 goals, 14 assists, and Leicester climbing back to the Premier League with him pulling the strings, calm on the ball, sharp near the box, and exactly the sort of player Rangers could use to inject some life into our midfield. Now, don't get your hopes up too high just yet. We're not the only ones in the queue for his signature. Brighton, Leicester, Aston Villa, Fulham, Newcastle, and even Manchester United are sniffing around. If Rangers pull this off, it'll be nothing short of a masterstroke. But here's the kicker. Does Dewsbury Hall see Rangers as the right stage to reignite his career? Or would he fancy staying in the Premier League, where the spotlight's bigger? And are we prepared to splash enough cash to beat off competition like that? Here's one for you to mull over with the lads. Is going after a player like Dewsbury Hall ambitious enough to challenge Celtic? Or are we just setting ourselves up for disappointment if we lose out to bigger fish? Let's hear it. Alex Lowry, one of those stories that leave you wondering what might have been. When he first came through, the buzz around him was electric. Was a young lad from Auchenhowie with real promise, scoring a peach of a goal against Hearts as a teenager. Folk thought he might be the next big thing at Rangers, but it's been a bit of a downward spiral since then. A knee injury, inconsistent performances, and a loan spell at Hearts last season that didn't exactly set the heather on fire. Now he's 21 and can't even get a sniff of the first team, let alone feature for the B-side in something like the Glasgow Cup. You've got to wonder if this is a case of bad luck, bad management, or simply a player not living up to the hype. Recruitment chief Niels Koppen's laziness comment certainly didn't help matters, implying there's been a lack of effort from some players, possibly including Lowry. And now the writing seems to be on the wall. Reports suggest he's likely to be shown the door in January, whether on loan or a permanent deal. A shame, really, but maybe it's the right move for him to finally get regular football. You can't sit around hoping for a breakthrough forever. Here's the big question to chew on. Is letting Alex Lowry go a sign Rangers are failing to develop their young talent, or is it just proof he's not cut out for the pressure of playing at Ibrox? What's your take? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.